Hi, I'm Patrick Danzy. I'm part of the Rockets team here in San Diego playing for TC Rockets. Today we're going to be talking about rug Rhinos and just briefly discussing why we think it's well positioned for the format in Modern currently. And we're going to play some games today. I just wanted to highlight some key takeaways going into the new Modern format with the Fury bans. So really, the Fury ban helped out Rhinos significantly by providing us more ways to actually get our clock on the board and some more tempo lines of play that didn't need to be too concerned with a 3-3 double striker taking us down so quickly. More specifically, discussing Tishana's Tidebender, able to provide some well-hidden tempo lines at the end of our opponent's turn and is interacting with some of the more broken cards in the format. And then that lines up really well with Flame of Venor from the Lord of the Rings set, which helps us draw cards, interact with cards like Agatha's Soul Cauldron or Yawgmoth, and just able to get some good card advantage and removal that deals with things like Shieldred really well.
And hi, I'm Chaz Tanner. I'm also a part of Rockets team for San Diego. Today I'll be piloting Blue-Red Murktide against Rhinos. Blue-Red Murktide, notably a staple of the format. It's very consistent, it's very good, it's very tempo-based. It's just kind of always been around. It's impacted by the ban of Fury minimally. It normally ran some in the main deck or sideboard, depending on your personal preference of build. So one of the key things that we've gotten recently is the preordain on band. So with preordain being on band, it gives us a better cantrip, which lets us see our cards a little bit better. There's been a lot of different going up and down with the number of Murktides in the list versus the number of Ledger Shredders. Today we're going to be playing 4 Ledger Shredders in our list, and we're going to be playing 3 Preordains, which is kind of spicy, and 1 Lorien Revealed. I've noticed a lot when I'm playing Murktide that sometimes you get put in a position where you need to have Blood Moon in play, but you don't have all the islands that you want. So being able to go get an island is great because your fetch lands are obviously now mountains. So I look forward to playing against Patrick with his Rhinos, see how we do. To determine who's going first, me and Patrick are going to play a game of rock, paper, scissors. We have the rock lobster, the paper tiger, and the scissors lizards. No need for our hands. So I'm going to shuffle them up. Patrick's going to pick 1 card for myself, 1 card for him, and then whoever wins gets to go first. Has to go first. Doesn't get the option. All right, Patrick, please pick 1 for you, 1 for me.
This one will be for you.
Okay.
This one will be for me.
And then this one will be for the cameraman. Like paper.
Nothing beats rock.
Paper
okay.
beats rock.
Okay.
Creatures named Rock Lobster can't attack or block, so you lose. I'll be on the play. Thank you. Thank you, though. Because I don't need to thank the audience for being there for rock, paper, scissors.
This hand is awesome. Has everything we want and more. So I'm going to keep this on the draw.
Yeah, it seems pretty decent. So we have land. We have the option for land. We have interaction. So, ready to go?
Yep.
Bubble.
Sweet.
Bubble myself.
Good.
Play land.
Mm-hmm.
Pass turn.
All right. That's great for us. We're going to...
That means I wanted to keep the card.
I would agree. We're just going to play our land and pass the turn.
Fetch. Second. Unless you'd like to Tishana it.
No, you're doing great.
Okay, thanks. I'm going to play a bubble.
Uh-huh.
We're going to go to 17.
Okay.
We're going to dash.
We're dashing.
Hiya.
I've been hiya.
Go to 18.
Doesn't really matter here if I do any fetching prior.
Well, if I hit the land that you wanted.
You can have a mutable.
See? Let's see.
Yeah, could have definitely fetched for that one.
I'm going to move dense up.
Alright, I'm going to do a little bit of a shortcut and just Lorien Revealed off of a basic forest.
This is going to go back to my hand. Oh, you're getting a basic island.
Actually, we're just going to get a Steam Vents here.
I'm going to look at the top card. Card. And then pass turn.
Alright, cool.
Draw during your upkeep.
Gonna shock in the steam vents that we know about and give it back to you.
All right, we're going to dash.
Okay.
We're going to attack.
So just wait for him to be in combat so we can do more Ragavans, and
Yep, I'll go to 16. I'll use my treasure, cast Preordain.
Okay.
And bottom both. Gonna play another bauble. I'm gonna bauble you. I'm gonna see what I'm drawing anyways.
Okay. Basic island, go.
Scalding turn.
Mm-hmm.
Pass turn.
Okay. We're just gonna force some interaction here and play first. Trigger Cascade.
Cascade is triggered.
It's quick and easy.
Not set up for the stream. I'm gonna go to 15. Going to get another steam vents, go to 13. And we will attempt to counterspell the crashing vents.
It's all good. All right. I'll give all my guys +0, +0, +1, +0.
Yep.
Go to my turn.
Sounds reasonable.
And your turn.
Fun and interactive magic.
Yep.
I'll pass back.
We're gonna repeat the same verse from last round.
Cascade resolves.
Sweet.
I thought we were gonna agree to put it on top for the camera.
That would have been nice for editing purposes, I'm sure.
Yeah. I will also run back the counterspell.
All right, cool.
One of the things that I really miss about older lists was Underworld Breach. Being able to just like play bauble 7 times and just draw 7 cards.
Yeah, those are great.
Yeah.
I'm going to suspend a Rhinoceros.
Okay.
And pass it back to you.
You have 4 cards?
I do have 4 cards.
So many. We will just play a Ragavan.
Okay.
Pass turn.
The turn, I'm going to throw a triumph across the room.
Okay. Block with Ragavan.
Okay.
Don't forget to put this down to 3 in your upkeep.
That's what my opponents were.
Yeah. I agree.
Let's play a fetch and pass it back.
Attack you for 2.
Okay. Here's a land.
I will not play it. Pass turn.
You have 4 cards?
I have 4 magic cards.
Okay. We'll draw for turn.
Take it down to 2 before you draw.
Basic forest and pass back to you.
I will fetch. Might as well get a steam vents since we're not going to do anything with it this turn. I don't think you're going to blood moon me. So,
Not this early. No.
so I have a treasure.
Sweet.
I don't just get the wooded foothills.
Yeah.
Hiya.
Still 5.
I will do nothing with it.
Sweet.
You're down to 11.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have 2 treasures. I will pass turn.
In a turn. And I'm going to just flash in a Tide Binder.
Sure.
And go to my turn. Where
We're learning.
We'll actually put down the footballs. Alright. Attack for 3.
I'll go to 9.
I'm gonna play the Auto War and pass the turn.
Combat.
Yeah.
Attack again.
We're going to Flame of Anor. to deal 5 damage to a monkey and to draw 2 cards.
I will attempt to counterspell it.
Alright, and then force the counterspell.
Interesting. So you have 1 card left. Yeah. That seems fine.
Draw 2 cards.
Yep. Your turn.
Alright. I'm going to cast a Rhino.
Resolves.
Sweet. Cool. Go to combat.
Sure.
For 3.
6.
And it's your turn.
I will unholy heat one of the rhinos.
Okay.
Dragon Rage Channeler.
Okay.
Pass turn.
End of turn.
Sure.
Gone the Chandler.
Use a treasure. Use another treasure. Attempt to Ottawa Snorlax.
Okay.
Bolt the Tishana's trigger.
Okay. This is deal 3.
I will leave it on top. This goes back to my hand. And it's your turn.
Yeah, how many cards?
3, one of which is a Ledger Shredder.
A Ledger Shredder.
Oh, that's on top. Pretend like you didn't hear that. I was just thinking about what I'm going to do next turn.
That's good to know. Alright. I am done. Your turn.
Cast Ledger Shredder.
I'm going to subtlety that.
Darcy.
Okay.
Pass turn.
End of your turn. Gone it again.
I'll bolt the subtlety. Leave it on top.
Your turn.
Ledger Shredder.
You got it.
Darcy. Trigger Ledger Shredder.
Uh-huh.
Pass turn.
1 card.
1 card. I am delirious.
I believe it. End of turn, we're going to go on the Shredder.
Shredder is gone.
Your turn.
Hey, guess what? Ledger Shredder.
Had it the whole time.
Yep. Combat?
Yep.
I offer 3.
Been 3'd. Go to 7.
Pass turn. See, this is great. Fun, interactive. I like when you don't cast spells.
This is awesome, yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Your turn.
Would you like to pay 2?
Nah.
They're going to Expressive Iteration. Trigger.
Okay.
I will leave it on top.
Typically, it's best if I can gone a Shredder and draw into a Cascade spell of some sort. There's only 1 footballs left in the deck, so.
Yeah. Play a Fiery Islet. Preordain. Trigger.
Okay.
Trigger.
Yep.
So we're going to resolve this first. We're going to leave it. Draw. And we're going to discard.
Okay.
Resolve Preordain.
Yep.
Top bottom. We're going to drop.
Sure.
Then move to combat.
Go for it.
Oh yeah. For 5.
I think 5 is a little too much for me to want to take. So I will gone the Shredder here, and I'll take my 3.
Sure.
It was only all 4 dead and guns on top of the deck.
Nice.
Yeah.
Pass turn. If you had saved 2 of them, you could have just killed something.
Play land and pass turn.
Ledger Shredder.
You got it.
Okay. Combat.
Yep.
3.
Go to 1.
Play Dragon Rage Chandler. Trigger Shredder.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
All right, and we're dead.
In response, bolt you.
Now you have it.
I get to be on the play again, right?
This hand's pretty close.
This hand's gas. I'm going to keep. I just want you to know if it helps you inform your decision.
How good your hand is.
Yeah,
this hand has most things that we're looking for. Not so hot on the mana base front, but
if we know anything from last game, he'll draw it.
True. We can be patient with this line of play a little bit, or we can just like force the answer if we really needed to. We're on the play, so it probably doesn't seem too awful. Maybe we can catch him. We'll see. All right, I'll keep it.
Sure. Let's boogie.
All right, so we'll just play land and go.
Spire Bluff. We're going to play a bauble, and then we're going to look at your card. Oh man, that's a magic card. We're going to play a monkey.
Yeah.
Last turn. Draw from bauble. Did you get there?
So we are just going to play this land for now and pass the turn.
Hiya for 2.
Trigger.
I would like to suspend that.
Okay.
I can't. You have to suspend it from the hand. We will pass turn.
That was a good draw.
How good? Scale of 1 to 10.
It was a 10.
Nice. Was it that?
We'll play a Mutavault and pass the turn to him.
Attempt to play Darcy.
You have a creature.
Move to combat.
Combat's fine.
So if we attack with monkey, you can either activate the Mutavault and then trade, or try to cascade into a Rhino. So we have interaction points, and it depends. We have a lot of bases covered, so I still think it is profitable to attack. One of the ways we can get punished if you have Violent Outburst, force blue card. But we can't play around everything, right?
No.
So we're gonna attempt to hiya.
Okay, so we're gonna dead your dude.
Dead him.
And you can answer this if you want. This would tap him out on his turn, which would be more ideal for us probably, but we still have interaction for most of his lines of play on his turn if you wanted to
Yeah, this is
do anything on the second main phase.
a little gross, but yeah, that'll resolve.
Sweet.
We will pass the turn.
Cool. So we'll take a turn. Keep up their lands. It's nice. And send it back to him.
We're going to cast Ledger Shredder.
Okay.
We will fetch down to 19. We're actually going to get a Steam Vents to 17.
Okay.
Move to combat.
Okay.
Attack.
I'll take 1. Go to 17.
I think we are going to bolt you after blockers. Triggers and triggers.
So here we are going to flash in a Tidebinder, and we get to counter some of these triggers. Let's try to figure out which one it is first. So probably worse for us if he gets to punish our ability to cascade into things with a shredder, so we don't want him looting more than we need to or getting closer to this being a 3/3. So we'll counter the shredder
Well,
trigger.
this will be a 3/3 once the bolt resolves.
Oh, you're right. Well, that being said, we're still countering here,
Okay.
just so we don't get more looting.
Then we will surveil.
Yep.
We're gonna leave that on top. So you're gonna take 3 from the bolt,
Go to 15.
and then 3 from the Dragon Rage Channeler.
Oh, you bolted me. You're
Yep.
right. So I'll be at 12 after everything's said and done.
And then we will pass the turn.
All right, cool. So go to our turn. He has 1 mana open
And a treasure.
and a treasure. All right. So he has a 1/3 on the ground.
In the air. Flies.
Not anymore.
What?
It lost
yeah,
all of its abilities.
all of its abilities.
It's pretty good.
It is not bad.
So we are going to attack.
I'm gonna go to 14.
Get a little aggressive. We're going to
Activate Mutafall as a show of force.
Yeah. As an end of turn flex. Now we're gonna put some time counters here.
Mm-hmm,
And then he still has
3 cards.
3 cards. I don't need to go too crazy just yet, so I will pass the turn.
All right, we are going to,
Read our cards again.
yeah, just to make sure.
Yeah.
We're gonna cast another Ledger Shredder.
Oh yeah, future ones are
Yep.
still pretty good.
And then we are going to bolt your Tidebender, trigger these. Please don't cast another one.
He has mana. We're gonna start here with a Force of Negation pitching Tishana.
Oh. You have 2 cards?
I do.
I'll spell pierce your Force of Negation trigger.
Okay. Yeah, you have countered my Force of Negation, and you can resolve your trigger. And then going back to the other triggers, we are going to cast another Tidebender.
Sure.
The question here is if we want to turn off his DRC or the other shredder to prevent a loot trigger. Probably.
Well, this actually gets another trigger with your Tishana cast.
Oh, valid. True. Yeah. We're losing our first Tishana's Tidebender here regardless.
Do you have anything before I resolve this? I'm talking about the...
Oh, yeah, you can resolve that trigger. That's fine.
Interesting choice. We discard a counterspell.
Awesome. We're gonna counter this trigger here,
Mm-hmm.
and then lose.
So I'll
this
resolve
one.
a... No cards in... 1 card in
I
hand?
have 1 card in hand.
We're going to leave that card on top. And then we will swing for 3 in the air. Go ahead.
So we still have another Footfalls here. So hopefully we can just wait that out a little bit better. 2/4 on the ground, though, is scary.
Does get to block Tishana's profitably.
We're going to end up giving him a trigger, but this is our best window to be able to cast this Shardless Agent, so we will do so now. We can tap a little bit better, though. Trigger?
Yep. Leave up the Red Elemental Blast.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
See?
Just like
See? Much like I talked about.
Just like we draw it up.
Trigger Shredder.
Sure, it's fine. Resolve Footfalls?
Yep.
Okay. So I have some Rhinos. He has 1 card in hand, which we're not too scared of necessarily. And passing the turn back.
So He still has 4 Fire Ices, 3 Dead Gones to interact with creatures that we have. What do we want to do? I think we're going to go more in on the aggro line. He's at 9. Because these are 1/4s. They don't trade with the Snorlaxes. 4, 8,
2 4s
10.
even.
Yeah, 2 4s. I think we put you on dead next turn.
Sweet.
Right? So if we hit for 5, it puts you to 4. So then we could play creature, double block here, take 8 down to 6. Then you need to have either Ottawara, something gross. But if we put you to 6, doesn't really change too much. So like putting you to 6 and putting you to 5, or you're 9, putting you to 6 or putting you to 4 doesn't really...
Doesn't change the turn too
Yeah,
much.
it could put you lethal next turn.
Yeah.
We're going to attack you for 5 in the air.
Okay. I'll take my 5 and go to 4.
And then we're going to play Murktide.
Okay.
Making sure to leave Delirium. He's going to get 4 counters. He's a 7/7 big boy.
Mm-hmm.
Pass turn.
Okay. So we are dead to most things here. Can't really draw much out of this, so we'll see. That was a start, but I don't know that it wins us the game. But we can try to win the game, so we'll see.
That's what I'm trying to do.
We're going to ice down your Murktide.
Seems like a reasonable choice.
Didn't quite draw what we wanted. So we needed to draw another answer for his second blocker, because otherwise we would have had lethal with what we had available. So,
yeah.
So you got this one.
Well, no, it's not. It wouldn't be lethal, right? Because you have
without the shredder on board. It was
right. Well,
plus 15.
If you drew an answer though, you'd have to do something with mana to answer it.
Correct. Yeah. So we needed you to not have the second blocker.
Oh, right. Yep. All right,
so keeping out the second blocker was right.
Yeah. So we'll go to the sideboard games then.
Yeah. Awesome. So going into sideboarding games against Murktide, we want to be able to board out some of our pitch cards. So we're going to be cutting 2 of our forces and all of our subtleties with one of our lowering reveals. We don't need the reveals as much. We're not boarding in our blood moons in this matchup. And then of note, we're going to be bringing in 3 mystical disputes and 3 endurances. The endurances interact with 10 cards in his deck already in the main. So it's nice to be able to put some pressure down, plus reduce the size of his creatures and turn off some of his removal. And then the disputes do a better job on my turn, where Force of Negation doesn't, to protect my Shardless agents to be able to get Rhinos on my turn, as opposed to just always having to have the Violent Outburst for his turns, and forcing the interactions when it's most tempo advantage for me. And then things that we're not going to be boarding in, I don't anticipate him to bring in his Blood Moons. I'm not going to bring in mine. I have enough basics in my deck for, like, if he wanted to get me in one of the games, I could probably just lean more aggressively towards the basics. Don't really care for the Force of Vigor for similar reasons, where I don't think he's boarding in the Blood Moons, and there's no artifacts I really care about in this matchup. The Airtie's Scorn, more for the mirror match. He doesn't really have any way of getting, like, too much advantage for me to bring in, like, just a hard cancel effect. And then as far as sweepers with the Brother's End, I don't really care to board that in either. So we're just going to bring in the 3 endurances, the 3 disputes, cut some of the pitch spells, and hopefully we can leverage a better tempo that way.
What a great 2 games. Honestly, the main deck's perfect. Don't need to do anything. But we are anyways. So we have 4 Lightning Bolts we're going to cut. Lightning Bolt's a great card. Triggers Dragon Rage Channeler, obviously deals damage to the face, but it's one of the least impacting cards in the deck versus Rhinos. Most of the creatures that he has are going to be 4/4s or 2/2s. Tidebender's great, but we have ways to deal with that and work around it. So it's better to have Fluster Storms and Force Negations for his Rhinos. Being able to exile Rhinos spells is great. One of the big things that they get to do is when they cast Endurance, they can actually target themselves to put more Rhinos back into their deck. As in like the first game where we worked through 3 Rhinos, if he had an Endurance main deck, he could have cast that, put more Rhinos into his library, and then kept cascading, putting us into a real bind because that overtaxes our resources. So we're going to try to exile his Rhinos, we're going to try and Flusterstorm his Rhinos, and we're just not going to bolt anything. Even though they are beautiful beta lightning bolts, you got to do what you got to do. See you for the next games. Yeah, we have creatures, we have spells, we have interactions. Pretty good.
All right, back on the play because we can't seem to win a game, which is fine. We have basically everything we're looking for. Hopefully we can draw into some more interaction, which would be nice, but we're curving pretty well.
Did you want to rock, paper, scissors to see who go, just to make you feel better? Maybe you'd be on the draw?
Maybe I can just win anything. That'd be great. No, it's fine.
Okay.
We're just going to start off with a basic forest suspending a footfalls, and it's your turn.
We're going to play a Spire Bluff Canal and a Dragon Rage Channeler. Last turn.
Okay.
You know what would be sick?
If we ever remembered our Rhino triggers.
Oh, I remember your Rhino triggers.
Okay, thank you.
Wasteland Strangling your Rhino to put it into the graveyard to give one of your creatures -3/-3.
Ooh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we have some options.
Okay, what are they?
Most of which involve this Misty Rainforest not being in play. So what we will do is we will pass the turn and let him go.
Okay. That was very generous of you.
I agree.
So, pivotal turns for Rhinos is turn 3, because that's when they first get the mana for Violent Outburst / whatever. He's not going to be able to
Form coherent sentences?
Yeah. Trying to figure out my thoughts.
No, you're fine.
Profitably interact on his next turn. So I think we're safe to progress our board. We're going to play Dragon Rage Channeler.
Okay.
Then we're going to play Preordain and to have 2 triggers.
The Preordain is fine. You can resolve your triggers.
Okay. We really want this card on top, which puts us in a predicament, because that means that we lose a Surveil and a potential Scry. But putting cards into the graveyard is also good. Honestly, I think we just want this card. So we're going to Surveil 2, or Scry 2. Put cards on top. We're going to do it like this because it doesn't matter. We're going to have both next turn. We'll draw. And then we'll move to combat.
Yep.
Attack for 1.
We're going to prevent a little bit of damage, but...
Are you going to fire both of my creatures?
I'm going to fire both of your creatures off of a Steam Vents.
I would update the life totals, but...
I think we can fix that. So I'll go to 17 to your
20. We
Perfect.
were a little worried about a fire, but leaving up 2 lands to pass the turn into is not really doing us much favors, because then he could have just iced one of our lands and then go and resolve a Rhino.
Yeah, you made that decision pretty easy for me, which was very generous of you.
You're welcome. Pass turn.
You have all this?
No. I think that decision was probably pretty easy anyways.
Well,
right?
You probably have something for us here, but it's not in our best interest to really hold too long without.
Well, what if I have something for you?
I'm sure you do. We're going to trigger Cascade.
Yep.
Cool. And then not a Rhino on top first, so.
We could edit that out.
We'll keep going.
Yeah.
This is the best part of the deck.
Yeah. So what we can do is we can actually have our editor edit where we do this, and then put that on the bottom, be like, oh, it was on top.
Every single time.
Yeah, I'm going to force some negation it, though.
Cool.
Getting rid of the Lorien revealed.
All right, so we are exiled footholds, which is still okay. And we'll pass the turn.
And then we both have 3 cards in hand.
I do.
Draw the card we knew about, play the card we drew, and then pass turn.
Cool. So we're lucky he doesn't just like board in the Blood Moons to get us here, which is always nice.
He's got the force for Besage. It doesn't matter.
Always have the force for Seiju. We're going to go to combat first.
Sure.
All right, so here's your 2.
We are below starting life total.
We are. All right, and then
Activate Mutable.
his 3 cards. So we're going to be putting a Footballs in the stack next turn. I don't know that there's much else that we'd rather do than just force all of the interaction out of his hand now. So we're going to do it again. So trigger Cascade.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There we go. So I'm going to cast this Footballs. Yeah.
We're going to use Flusterstorm.
All right. So
We're going to copy and then target Crushing Footballs.
okay.
Basically a Mystical Dispute for green.
I agree. This one goes back in the graveyard though, so that's nice.
Yeah.
And we have 2/2/2s, and we're going.
Awesome. Basically a redraw. We're going to pass the turn.
Cool. So let's just repeat the process of having him need the answer.
We have it.
But he's down to 1 card, and we're going up on damage, which
That is accurate.
I don't see a reason to activate the Mutavault here. He has 1 card, so we will do this.
Down to 14.
All right. We have all the interaction we really want for his turn, so we're going to pass it.
I'm going to draw.
Okay.
And then I'm going to draw. I'd like to preordain, please.
Preordain's acceptable.
These are both fine cards.
All right.
I would like to cast a Ledger Shredder.
Tapping out for Shredder.
We are tapping out on my turn.
Yeah, that's fine.
Pass turn.
All right, cool. So
I'm an Outburst.
we want to take advantage of him being tapped out a little bit, so we will use this opportunity to draw 2 cards.
Okay.
All right. Cool. Turn. Just another land, which is fine. I
mean,
would probably prefer to keep open mana again because it's a good habit to be in. So we can start by just going into combat and pressuring his life a little more. He probably values this Shredder pretty highly, so he won't block.
No, I definitely will block.
Okay, that's acceptable then. So,
Because then if you Fire Ice or do anything else, you have to tap out, or not tap out, but you have to tap down, and then hit you. We've both been missing some land drops, so you basically spend your turn to kill my Shredder.
I think trading the Shredder has some high value. So we will deal the 2 damage, put him to 14,
12.
or 12 even, and then I'll play a really good land, and we will endurance you now. Just because cards have flash doesn't mean you need to wait till his turn. It's always ideal just to force pressure when it's available. If he's tapped out, just take advantage of the opportunity to put a 3/4 into play. Cool. And now he has a 1/1, which we have no problem with.
Yeah, pass turn.
All right, so he has 2 blue, which historically can be scary, but we're pressuring his life total pretty good here.
There's also 2 counterspells on the bottom of my library, and I haven't shuffled.
Very true. We'll just have to find a stifle for your shuffle effect when it's necessary.
Like to Shauna's Tidebender.
Yeah, it's a good one to have. So we're doing really good stuff here. So what we're going to start with is a Lorien revealed for a basic island.
Trickbind.
Yeah, you got me. We're going to play the island for turn. We can keep up everything if we really want to. So we will suspend the Crushing Footballs.
Number 4.
Showing the 4th one. And
No longer worried about Cascades.
No need for that. We're going to split some damage with a fire to put you to 11, and then we're going to get in again.
All right, we go down to 4.
And it's your turn.
And we have free reign to do whatever we want.
To include conceding.
To include conceding. So we are definitely dead on the crack next turn. So to add insult to injury, we're going to cast a Dash Dragavan.
That's acceptable.
We're going to attack. See what we can hit. Okay, we'll concede.
All right, cool.
Mystical Dispute notably not helping with lethal on board.
No.
Yeah, this is my keep. We have lands, we have spells. Pretty good curve. A lot of interaction. Not much interaction, but we have a lot of things. And we're on the play, so that means he's got to answer us. It's going to be great.
All right, so can't ask for much more out of a 6. We get this on the draw, which is pretty great. So we'll have some interaction with hopefully drawn to some pressure that curves a little bit earlier than he may have been anticipating us with the draw factor. So we'll start the game, and unless you have anything on turn 0, I do.
I want to be on the draw.
Little late.
Okay.
So we'll show the Gemstone Caverns. We're going to exile a Flame of Anor, which is great in this matchup, but we're doing everything that we want otherwise with what the cards we have.
All right. Well, we're going to lead with a monkey.
Okay.
Go ahead. Our starting hand is a little bit worse now that you
So,
can interact on.
Yeah, we have the way to interact on the draw.
On the turn 0.
Yeah. How cool is that?
For you.
Yeah. So we'll just do this and pass the turn.
So now we have 2 options. Well, I mean, we have multiple options, but I think what we're going to do, though, is we're going to play another Spire Bluff Canal. We're going to play a Ledger Shredder.
Sweet.
Because that interacts more favorably with your Cascade plan, and perhaps next turn maybe trigger it ourselves. We're going to pass turn.
Okay, so I'm going to take a damage.
I'm winning.
Put a Tri-land into play. Perfect mana. Hopefully we can draw just some gas to take advantage of that. My turn. It's a good draw. Play Wooded Foothills. And pass the turn back.
We'll play Fetch Land.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to play a Darcy.
You have it.
Play this. Triggers.
You have some triggers.
We're going to trigger Surveil.
Okay.
We're going to put it into the graveyard.
Okay.
Trigger this.
Got it.
Put that into the graveyard.
Yep.
We're going to...
One card?
We have 1 card.
Great.
So you have Violent Outburst. It triggers Shredder.
Mm-hmm.
We can turn Darcy on whenever we want. I think we're just going to be the aggressor here and Haya for 2.
Okay. We're going to fetch.
With your fetch, we're also going to fetch. That way it stops us from getting Tishana's. We're going to get a basic island.
Basic force for me. I'm going to flash in an Endurance. And put you further behind on this Channeler. You're all set.
Are you going to target me?
I'm going to target you.
Okay. Darcy's back to being a 1/1.
I'm going to go to 18. I'm going to go to blocks.
Sure.
And I'll block.
Sure.
Cool.
We will pass the... we're actually going to bubble you. We're going to see what you're working with. You got 2 cards. Okay. It's good to know. Draw during
That probably is good for him to know.
It is. How lucky.
Um,
How lucky.
so I think we are just going to think about how the Steam Vince is coming into play first.
Sure.
He knows about the Mystical Dispute. He doesn't know about our last card, which is a heater. I think here we are going to let this come into play tapped. Conserve a little bit of damage and pass the turn back.
We're going to play a Darcy.
Okay.
We're going to play a Misty Rainforest.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to pass the turn.
All right. Well, we're not going to hold this up forever, so we're just going to hardcast the second Endurance, target you again.
So we know that he's got a Mystical Dispute, which means he doesn't have any of the Cascades. So we're going to counterspell the Endurance to have 3 triggers. This way we can keep our Darcys online. We'll have 3 types, so with these 3 triggers, we just need 1 more type into the graveyard. We'll put Otawara into the graveyard, trigger number 2. We're going to put it also into the graveyard, and then trigger 3.
Sure. Sweet.
3 great cards.
Can't ask for anything better to go in the guard.
Nope.
Okay. So we'll draw.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll pass turn.
We're going to fetch.
Okay.
Yeah, so go to 18.
So these are 3/3s currently.
Oh, yeah.
You're all set.
Move to combat.
Yep.
Attack for 9.
Start chumping away at these channelers, and I'll take my 6.
Yep. Pass turn.
12. It's a good draw. Probably going to be keeping up more mana, which is fine. We'll pass the turn back.
All right, we're going to move to combat.
Okay.
Attack for 6.
Attacking for 6.
Yep.
We are again going to, well, we can take 3 here. No reason for him to be able to double. So now we'll block here. That's fine.
Sure. So you'll take 3.
Yep.
Down to 9.
Yep.
We'll pass turn.
Cool. So I'm at 9, he's at 18. I think here we are going to try to get a little aggressive.
Yeah, like you have to do something at some point. Like just sitting here isn't going to be super helpful.
So he knows about the dispute. We're just going to
good.
put a type under to play for nothing. And then go to my turn.
Yep.
Alright. Attack for 3.
We will go to 15.
And then I'll pass the turn back.
We're going to go to 13. And then we'll pass turn.
Leaving up mana is a little scary. But he didn't attack, which is great. I will play a land and send it back.
So we can do this knowing that he has Mystical Dispute, just get it out of his hand. It's going to cost him 1, which means he can still Cascade. I think that's fine. If he Cascades, we get to make this a little bit bigger, then we can just eat a Rhino, take a bunch of damage, if that resolves. So we're going to try and play Ledger Shredder.
Okay. So here it's probably best for him to either want to keep his Ledger Shredder or hold up interaction, so we will dispute that.
Yep.
Cool.
And then we will pass turn.
All right. End of turn, we are going to cast a Violent Outburst and trigger Cascade.
trigger.
Yeah.
So we have a very interesting choice. He has one unknown. We have interaction. We have another way to put stuff onto the board. So I think we discard here. We have 2 endurances gone, which means he has 1 to 2 more in the deck. So I think we're going to do this. Get a counter here. Cascade will resolve.
Okay. All right. Not as easy.
And then we are going to attempt to spell pierce, and then trigger Ledger Shredder. This is my second spell.
It is your second spell. I'm going to fetch for a basic. Sure. I'm going to get an island, go to 8, sure, which is becoming a 2-turn clock.
Well, you have blockers.
You have blockers.
You have another dispute?
I do. So with your trigger on the stack, I'm going to dispute your repel pierce.
Sure.
Cool. Resolve your trigger, and then resolve my footballs.
It is resolved.
So he has a 3/6,
4/6,
a 4/6, even better.
He
So
blocks Rhinos.
2 of these guys, and I'm going to go to my turn.
Yep. And that Gemstone Cavern did a lot of work.
It's done a little bit. Allowed me to play more spells than it probably would have been otherwise. So, if he wants to be on blocking detail, that's probably fine, because we're estimated to deal 10 damage this turn, and then 6 on the follow-up at a minimum. And he has 1 card left in hand. It's probably in his best interest to want to draw into removal, if he can. And I'm not casting anything right now, so let's go in.
We're going to block a Rhino.
All right, cool. So
take 10.
We'll deal our 10 damage.
Down to 3.
And then I will pass the turn.
All right. We're going to play a Ledger Shredder.
All right.
And then we are going to pass the turn.
Cool. So he has another blocker. And he has 1 card left. We drew best possible, so that is good for us.
Well, we drew worst possible.
Awesome. So yeah, Flame of Anor with all of the damage, and then draw some cards.
And wizards.
We're great. So we deal lethal, and we split our games.
Congratulations.
Awesome. So that was 4 games, 2 pre-boarded, 2 post-boarded. I feel like the Rhinos deck is pretty good positioned post-board. You're taking out all of those cards that would have created the card disadvantage for you with the extra forces and the subtleties. If we drew forces and subtleties that matchup, I think I would have been even further behind, especially after putting a Gemstone Caverns in play, not having the Flame of Anor available to me. Got a little lucky in the 4th game to not draw as many lands, which is great. And then just being able to put some amount of pressure and just trying to generate the clock, and understanding that if he wants to be the aggressor, he's going to have the removal, and he didn't. So we came up on top.
Poop. These were fun and very interactive games. There's a lot of different things that we did, a lot of different things that we could have done differently, and a lot of different actions to take during this gameplay. It's always fun to go back and see and think about what you could have done differently, and mostly just think about all the lines of play that we could have taken, and just see if what we did could have had significantly different impacts on the game. I think that Murktide is still a good deck to play. Rhinos is a great deck to play. The other 2 big decks are Amulet Titan and Yawgmoth. Those are probably the top 4 decks in Modern right now. We have a Yawgmoth primer on the YouTube channel. They'll probably be making more content, more deck techs coming up soon. So like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.